100 ultimate cartoon protagonist tier lists. So we'll see what we can figure out and go from there. Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown was okay back in the day. Not really my favorite, and not the best. So we're gonna say D. Garfield, never liked any of the Garfield cartoons. Garfield himself, the comics way back in the day, were better than the cartoon. The cartoons, all gonna end D too. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the old ones I was a fan, the newer ones not so much. So they can be a B. Most TMNT are good. Optimus Prime, a lot of the old Transformers shows were great. He can be an A. He-Man and Masters of the Universe, Skeletor and all that, they can be a B. They were good. I didn't get super into them. It was when I was really young. But I watched enough that I feel like I can say that it was pretty decent. Thundercats. Thundercats TV show, it's an S. Leo can be an S as well. Thundercats was a great show. The new one wasn't as great, and it got canceled. It probably didn't deserve to get canceled, but it did. So, oh well. Scrooge McDuck. DuckTales is an S. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going more by the cartoon itself than by the character. Unless the character has like a major character flaw that I really hate, I'm going to put it where probably the cartoon itself goes. Homer Simpson, The Simpsons, I never really got into. There are a few episodes that are really great that I really like, but then there's other episodes where I don't care less. And like I've watched a good amount of The Simpsons. Simpsons up what it's see. Like a lot of people love them. I'm just not super into them. Like I'll watch it if it's on TV, but I don't care enough. Family Guy, Peter Griffin himself is annoying as hell. Family Guy is a decent show. It's not my favorite show. It's gotten again. It was better earlier. It's gotten worse as it's gone on. I'm gonna put Peter Griffin in C-rate with Homer. South Park, same deal. It has good social commentary and kind of stuff. Cartman's just an asshole, but he's supposed to be an asshole. Like he fits the show. But South Park itself, I never really got into. I never cared that much, so we'll put him as C as well. Mickey Mouse, never got into a lot of Mickey stuff. Mouse House or whatever it was called, and like the old cartoons and that kind of stuff. Mickey Mouse, honestly, can be down in D. Hopefully Disney doesn't assassinate me if I die in the next few days. We know what happened. Futurama and Fry is excellent. That can be up an A. Futurama's a great show. It had a good ending. I don't think they need to do the remake or they need to keep it going. But, you know. Like, Futurama, in my opinion, never got bad. Like, it stayed consistent. It stayed at a good quality throughout the entire run. Rick and Morty. Early Rick and Morty was good. Like, A. It got worse again as it went on, so I'm putting that in B. Like, I do like the characters, but the show itself just kind of went downhill after a bit. BoJack Horseman, I didn't watch a lot of. The little bit I did watch, wasn't really a fan. So D. Space Ghost, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. He can be an A from my childhood. I think I talked about him before, like he did, yeah, in the other cartoons tier list. That was just the shows themselves, but you know, Space Ghost himself actually had a good superhero show. He was pretty cool. Batman, same deal. Most Batman's an S. Most of the animated Batman's are S. The best Batman animation is Mark Hamill. When Mark Hamill was the Joker, excuse me, that was the best animation overall. Batman himself, the vast majority of Batmans are S tier. There's a couple of Batmans that I would knock down some, but the vast majority of animated Batmans are S tier. Animated Superman, I'll put down to A. Because some animated Superman the same as Batman, but there some were great, some were okay. But Superman doesn't usually have as good of an arc as Batman. There are a few arcs that are really good, but Batman's overall generally better. Dexter, the cartoon S tier. Dexter himself he's a little kid. Honestly, he's whiny, but he's really smart. But he's really smart and really whiny. So B. I'm sorry, I'm correcting myself a little bit. I'm trying to do more of the character than I am the show. Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo can be B2. Because sure, he's womanizing, mostly idiot. But he's got like that a little bit comes through every now and again of a good guy or a good person. So he can be B. Cal from Cow Chicken, completely fucking stupid. The show was dumb. The character was dumb. Just everything was dumb. So they can be D. Blossom. Blossom can be a B because Blossom is occasionally uptight. Sometimes a bit of a bitch for a little kid, but She she doesn't bend enough for the rules most of the time. Basically, she's very uptight and straightforward. Bugs is S tier because Bugs does everything. Bugs does smart. Bugs is a lot smarter than he plays off. And he cross dresses and he does all kinds of shit. Bugs is just cool. Bugs is out there. Bugs is like, all right, whatever. Eddie is a greedy bastard that for the most part puts himself before his friends, except when the shit really hits the fan. Eddie's a bit of a dick. I don't know why most people are friends with him. Eddie himself can be a C. I love Ed, Ed and Eddie as a cartoon show, but they themselves can be C. Courage is Ness. Because Courage, while he's scared of things, when he has to, he faces his fears. He's the hero of the show a lot of the time. He looks out for Muriel and Eustace. And he's just a good boy overall. Good dog. S. Samurai Jack also S. The show is Ness. He himself is Ness. He's just cool. He's badass. He's doing what he has to do. His character grows throughout the show as well. Like he isn't just he doesn't. It's hard to describe because I don't remember the show perfectly, but he starts off more or less, in the future scared, wants to kill everybody, hates everybody, kind of. But he learns and grows and figures out what's going on and goes on. Grim, honestly, Grim is also in this. He's stuck taking care of Billy and Mandy. He does the best he can. He gets the short straw a lot of times, but he just rolls with punches basically. Sure, he complains and moans, but who wouldn't in his condition? Number one, Kids Next Door. He can be an A. Mostly because Kids Next Door I wasn't super into. It was a great show, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't one that I went crazy for. But he's cool. He did his role as the leader. He did a good job as the leader in that show, besides a few short episodes. So Ahsoka is always Ness. She's Ness in the Clone Wars. She's Ness in Rebels. She's Ness in The Mandalorian. She's Ness in every show she's been in. So Ahsoka's Ness here. This guy, Blue. Foster's Home, Imaginary Friends. I think was Ness, maybe an A. I don't remember. Blue himself is a bit of an asshole and jerk. Blue can be a B. Because he's okay, but he's self-centered and, like I said, an asshole. This monkey, what was it, Lazarus? I think Lazarus, if I remember right. He he's okay, but he's a little dumb too. So we'll make him a B. Is this not the kid with Lazarus the monkey as well? I think I'm right. I may be misremembering. Not 100% sure. Okay. Ben 10, the show, I wasn't a fan of. Ben 10 himself was a good character though within the show. So just because of that will make him a B too. Like he did his job. He saves the world, that kind of stuff with his alliance. Popeye didn't really care. Never got into. What's this kid's name? Chatter. There you go. Chatter. Took me a second. Chatter. Same deal. Not a good show. Don't really like the character. He's an annoying kid, basically, that wants to cook things. So he can be a D. I forget this show. I've seen it. I don't remember what it was called. So therefore, I probably didn't like the characters. So I'm gonna say D. Finn. Finn can be low S, high A. I'm not 100% sure. But I love Adventure Time. Finn does his job. Finn is the hero. Sure, he does some dumb shit. He's not super smart. But when the shit hits the fan, he does the right thing most of the time. He is a decent, role model. No idea what this one is. Or if I do know, I'm not 100% sure. Um, Mordecai. Mordecai can be an S too. He's a bit of a jerk occasionally, but he's for the most part a good dude. Grandpa. I forget what the show's called. Some kind of grandpa. But he's a D because it's a stupid show. It's a stupid character. I don't like him. I think this is the same show. I might not remember, but again, it's one of the stupid ones I don't give a fuck about. So. Total Drama Island was interesting. The show itself wasn't great in my opinion, but the characters were actually pretty good. Most of them. He can be a B. Robin depends on the era. This Robin, Teen Titan, Robin in general can be an A. Robin from the new Teen Titans Go, is a C. Robin from the old Teen Titans or a lot of the Batman cartoons is an S or an A. So what we'll give him? We'll give him an A, low A. Low A with some minus marks, maybe high B, but low A. We'll see. I think this is Woody Woodpecker. I'm not 100%. It's old. But it was an old cartoon. He fits along with like bugs and that kind of stuff, but they weren't as big and weren't as popular. And if I'm not mistaken, he didn't talk. I may not remember right, but he can be a C. Jerry honestly is a bit of a dick. Like Tom and Jerry is a good cartoon, don't get me wrong, but Jerry himself is a bit of a dick. Yeah, a lot of times, it's cat and mouse. But sometimes he goes out of his way to be a dick. He can be a C. Gumball. Gumball's actually it's a good show. The characters aren't halfway bad. He can be a B. He doesn't have any standout qualities in my opinion, but he's not bad either. Fred Flintstone was your typical working man from back in that day. Nothing special, but the angry dad, or not even necessarily angry, but the dad. George Jetson, same deal as him. Come home, watch TV, work, take care of your family, that kind of stuff. Yogi Bear, don't really care. Was back in the day. Scooby in and of itself can be a B. Most of the Scoobies are good because he's a dog. He's supposed to be and all that kind of stuff. But they still have the Scooby is the mascot, honestly, of Scooby Doo. He doesn't really do a whole lot by himself. I forget what this is called. It's old things to do. Static Shock, the character in and of itself. I guess it'd be. I don't remember it that well, but he was a decent dude. He saved, who was the city. Steven Universe, Steven the character, is an A. Like I never got super into Steven, but there's a lot of moral lessons. There's a lot of good stuff in that show. Like you can watch it and enjoy. No idea what this one is. I don't think. Doug Funny. Doug Funny can be a B. I liked Doug when I was a kid, but Doug himself, he's a socially awkward teenager. He likes patty mayonnaise, but he doesn't know how to do anything about it. His best friend, Skeeter, all that kind of stuff. Skeeto Valentine. Yeah, Doug can be a B with his big nose. Tommy Pickles is a D because he's a bad baby, honestly. Always wants to go on adventures and do stuff. Like, sure, it's good for a kid to have imagination and that kind of stuff, but he's always breaking out his pen. He's always doing questionable things, putting him and his friends in danger, leading them into dangerous situations. Like, sure, he's a leader, but he's not a good leader. You know what I mean? Ren and Stimpy was a funny show, but a terrible show. You know what I'm talking about back in the day. He honestly, he's sadistic. He's bad. He's crazy. But he was fun. He could be C. Rocco's an A. S. Rocco's an S tier. Rocco's Modern Life was a great show. Rocco himself is just a cool dingo trying to get through life, basically. Arnold from Hey Arnold is an A. He's a good kid. He's smart. He tries to look out for people. He does all right. I forget the beavers' names from Two Angry Beavers. The show was okay. They were. I don't remember them enough. I'm gonna put them and see. Cat from Cat Dog. He was a bit of a jerk, but he wasn't bad. Like he was a good counterbalance to Dog, so he can be a C. Eliza Thornberry is an A. Watched out for the animals. Did what she could. Sure, she was a bit of a klutz or a dummy sometimes, but for the most part, she did her job. She watched out for the animals. She could talk to animals, that kind of stuff. But she was another one that did the right thing all the time. SpongeBob is S. Old SpongeBob especially. Newer SpongeBob has obviously gone down here. But overall, SpongeBob's an S. It's a great show. All the characters are great S tier, in my opinion. Most of them, anyway. And SpongeBob himself, sure. There's some episodes where he's a bit of an asshole, and you can understand Squidward's point of view. There's other episodes where he's clearly the victim, that kind of stuff. It depends. But for the most part, he's good. Invader Zim kind of grew as a character over the years, but for the most part, meh. A, B, and D. The show wasn't bad, but the character itself was very, very, what's the word? One tune, pretty much. I don't know. Timmy, the early Fairly Odd Parents were good. The other ones dropped down, but Timmy himself is for the most part okay. He can be a bit of a dickhead sometimes. Timmy can just be a B. I've seen the show. I don't remember enough about it. Jimmy from Jimmy Neutron. His intelligence makes him arrogant. He learns from it sometimes, but he usually falls right back into that same path. He goes through this I'm smart, you're not, I'm right too often. It's too often of a character arc in the show. So he can be low B, high C. Jenny, the robot, I forget the exact name of the show. Something like that, though. She was okay. Same deal, bit of a hothead teenager. You know, I'm gonna slam my head against the wall trying to do this thing until I finally knock myself out, and then someone helps me get the right way. Kind of like Jimmy. Same tier. Danny Phantom was great. He can be an A tier. He's another one. Usually doing the right thing. Sometimes had a few missteps, so for the most part, he's a good character, doing the good thing all the time. Aang. Aang was, of course, a little immature, but that's because, he was young. Aang, Avatar itself in general was great. Aang, as a character, grew properly over the course of the show. Like, he didn't stay an immature little kid. He learned what he was doing. He grew into his role. Aang had an excellent character arc. I forget the title. It's the, like, 3D animated barnyard animals that came off of a movie. I forget what the movie was called, too. It's been a while. But he's always, the quote-unquote the leader of the farm, more or less. But also more of a selfish. I'll put him in the C2. He's a bit like Eddie in vibe, I think. Putting himself and his ideas first, that kind of thing. Johnny Test. Johnny Test wasn't bad. He was always trying to test his sister's inventions and that kind of stuff. And getting in trouble and saving the world. He can be a B. This girl, I forget her name. I know the show. She can just be a C. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I don't remember it that much. The penguins from the Penguins of Madagascar. Captain, I forget his actual name. He's a B. He's a good leader. He's a good character. I enjoy it. Yeah, yeah. This dude I don't remember enough of, so you can go down and D. This dog I feel like I know, but I don't 100%, so yeah. Jack Black as a panda is an A. That's all you gotta know. Jack Black as a panda. Bora, not as good as Aang. Where'd I put Aang? I put Aang in A. I'm sorry, Aang's an S. I don't know why I did that. Korra isn't quite as good as Aang, but she's still really good. She can be a low A, high B. It's because she's a bit of a dickhead at first, but she more or less grows out of it. It's alright. The Rabbids I didn't watch. I'm not sure I know what this is, so I don't know. Diego from Dora. Dora was after my time as a child, more or less. I watched some with either babysitting or younger kids, that kind of stuff these days, but it never really. It did its job, basically. But they can be C's because they're mildly annoying. And it's basically the same show. Blue from Blue's Clues can be an A because my son loves Blue's Clues. We watch it all the time. And they do a good job teaching. It's Josh right now as the host. Like Blue the puppy doesn't really do a whole lot in and of herself, obviously, but it's a dog. It's a good dog. I forget the ponies' names. I have unfortunately watched a good amount of the show. It's not that great, but don't know why my mic shut off, but okay. It's not that great, but most of them are honestly okay. And yeah, I don't know. Why my music shut off either? It's been off for a minute. It's the wrong one. My bad. Turn that down, but we'll let it run. Not that we have much left, so it's been, I'm sorry, it's been silent the entire time. The ponies I don't remember, but I don't think there were any really bad characters in the show, so I'll just give them a B. I know the chick, I've seen the show, I don't remember what it's called. D. Kim Possible is an A, easily. Good character. Grew immature and went in her role and got to became a better character as things went on, obviously. Like, she had her ups and downs, she was mostly good. Lilo and Stitch, I never really watched the cartoon. The movie was pretty much a C. Chip and Dale, I think this one, I don't remember which one this one is. I think it's Dale. It's been a long time. I don't really care, honestly, so D. This one I don't know. This one I don't know. This one I don't know. Don't know. Don't know. I don't remember whether this is Phineas or Ferb. But they're both Bs. There was nothing wrong with them in the show, but in my honestly opinion, like Doofenshmirtz or a couple of other characters were better characters than the kids. So I'm gonna be. Don't know what this is. I know what this is. It's a good character. I don't remember if it's Gravity Falls or what show it was. I could be 100% wrong. Yeah, just be. I don't know. Don't know. Don't know. Never watched the Tangled cartoon, but the movie itself she's B, so I'm gonna say B. You know, she can be an A. A for the movie, I don't know about the cartoon. So. I don't remember what show this is. I know it's a decent show, I've watched it a few times. So you can just be a C. And this one I have no idea. So unfortunately there's a few Rabbids are gonna be a D. I have watched them. I know what they are, but I've never watched the show, but they're just it's an annoying concept character. So yeah. There you go. Short, sweet, and simple. Cartoon characters. G G's. 3 G's.